Today, let's make the figurine Baby Dimples out of polymer clay. She's a super strong girl breaking chains here. Little girl with super strength. It's from the book The Lovely Grounded Faeriez. That can be found on Amazon.com. There's the cover of the book with the girls in their fairy form. No, they are in their human form. The Lovely Grounded Faeriez. Spell that F-A-E-R-I-E-Z when you go to look it up. And let's start with a sketch of what I want the figurine to look like. And now let's make it a reality. Starting with polymer clay, the flesh tone. This is for the face. Starting the head. Of course, polymer clay, you got to get it soft. You got to get it conditioned. Do that in your hand. Fold it a few times. Get it soft. Here I'm using aluminum to make the armature with. You gotta have an armature because the clay doesn't stand up on its own. Gotta have some support inside, a backbone as it were. And you got to, again, get the clay conditioned in your hands. Little time-lapse photography there. Alright, polymer clay. Some tips would come polymer clay. You may want to make sure you have a little misty spray bottle with you to spray water on stuff that you don't want clay to stick to, including each other. You don't want clay to stick to clay at times, so use water to keep the clay separated. Be sure to dry it though when you do stick it together. And you may want to make sure your figurine is maybe in effect hollow at the top and solid at the bottom, maybe around the waist area down. You want to keep the clay solid. Now I got the body solid here. Should have made the neck and the thorax, that is the chest area, the belly area. I probably should have made that hollow as well. This was a bit of a learning experience making this figurine. Now though I did make the head hollow, I should have made the face hollow as well. You want to make the figurine not so top heavy so that it will not be difficult to stand the figurine after she is made. There's a little bit of misting of water to keep it from sticking to the mat and to keep it from sticking to the fondant roller I have there. I'm going to make her a collar. Because it is moving around on the map, I'm sort of rocking the knife so that it won't shift around as I make the collar. There we go, a collar for her shirt. Her polo shirt. Now let's make the seam for the front of the shirt where the collar comes together. Little too long there. I've got to cut the collar short as well. It's a little long too. Now if you bake any part, which I will do later in this video, if you bake some pieces, bake them only for like 5 minutes or so. Don't bake them too long because they're going to be baked again with the rest of the figurine. It's probably best as much as possible to not bake any of it until you have the figure completed. But that's difficult to do, and I'll explain. You'll see why as we go along. Here I'm making two little spheres. S-P-H-E-R-E, squishing them on and pressing them in with this little round tool to make buttons. Here I'm adding some more material. I thought she was getting a little too thin. Add some girth there and mold it into shape. Now I added some brown to the khaki create the khaki brown or khaki color that I wanted. And I started with her shorts with that color. Of course I'm going to make a skirt to go along with those shorts later. Now let's make her legs. Now you may want to score the surface of this, the armature, the wire, with your tool or something, in order to make it have some bite, in order to hold the clay into place. Clay tends to shift around on a smooth wire. Got her legs sculpted there. Now to trim that back in order to put her socks on. Though I don't show it here, I also made a sleeve to her shorts. Now to make her boots. Got her skirt on, and here I'm making the hands in this dream sequence. Just kidding, actually I had a smudge on the camera here. Now making the hands, I'm going to bake the hands, but not the arms. That's so that I could stick the hardened paddle hands, I'm going to make fingers later, into the figurine's arms. Soft clay allows hard clay to be jabbed inside over there. Okay, let's go ahead and make the sleeve. And attach the sleeve to the arm. Pretty well underway there. Pretty well put together. Most of the way there. Here I'm sketching the face. With pencil, obviously. And I'm using acrylic paints to paint her face on. An acrylic paint face up. Using a number 0, I believe that is, a number 0 liner brush. I also like to use a brush when inking my artwork in, doing the line work for drawings. Going over that a few times, making it thicker. I'm not a one-stroke artist, generally speaking, so I can make her eyebrow with one stroke. There we go. I'm sort of a fiddle artist. I've got to fiddle with my piece till I get it like I want it to be. But a little practice makes it easier to make one-stroke eyebrows. Here I made a little shape on the back of her face so that I can tilt her head. And I'm adding the hair now. Be sure to keep this part hollow. You can put paper towel or something inside of there. Hard to get out later though. You might just leave paper towel in there, it's not too heavy. And it doesn't really catch on fire when you bake the clay. Here I'm making the hair where it's pulled together into a ponytail. I think this is a little therapeutic, at least to watch if not to do. And of course I do it to the other side also. This is where her hair is pulled into a ponytail. That hair bleeds, that color bleeds easily onto your fingers and then onto the face. Here I'm making the ears, make a heart shape, cut it in half, press it with a big one, then make the inner ear with a little one, then make just roll that around there to make the little edge of the ear. Now the shape of the ear is basically nothing more than a half a disc with the letter Y bent inside of it. I think if you look at it that way, it'll make it easier for you to draw or to sculpt an ear. Basically a half a disc with the letter Y bent around the inside of it. Ever notice you have the letter Y inside of your ear? Your two ears? Here I'm attaching the ears to the head. I'm going to bake that too so they don't deform as I work with it. Should use some water there, spray water. Now I got her face veiled because I don't want to get all that color on her face as I make her bangs. Using various tools to shape that part of her hair. It's the fondant roller again. think it's made out of acrylic or some plastic. Solid. It's a solid object. Alright, center of her nose. That's the bridge of her nose right there. So let's get started finding where her hair should be. Though it may not look like it. This is sped up a little bit, this particular footage. And I'm looking at the sketch on the wall in front of me as I do this, to have the hair in the right place. And here we cut out the middle parts in between the locks of hair. There we go. Now let's remove the veil. There she is. Let's get that into shape. Mold it into shape a little bit more. I think it was tilted. I'm going to push up and pull down on that side. That's better. Little soft clay to adjust the tilt of her head. Now to make her ponytails. Now I use the same aluminum wire to make her ponytail. That would go inside of the ponytail, at least the top part of the ponytail. I baked the bottom part of the ponytail in order to hold its shape, and here I'm getting it ready to bake using a little paper towel under there and one of my carving tools, old carving tool. Now to bake. And now that it is baked, don't bake it too long. It's nice and stiff, so I can apply more strands of hair to it. Here I've already attached one soft strand of hair, and now I'm going to attach the other onto the hardened middle part. Decided to change the base to a ruby color. You get these mint containers at your local department store. Just shake out the mints and use the bottom. I probably should have filled this base in with something so it would have some weight of its own to support the standing figurine. I've used sort of a super or crazy glue, I'm not sure which one, to stick this on here. Not a good glue though, because it's a bit brittle when it dries. I like the idea of it being a fast drying glue. However, it's brittle when it dries, so it breaks its bond easily when the figurine moves. But I did like it okay when using it for the chains, the glue that is. And the chains are that metallic clay wrapped around I think it was a pencil, maybe a straw. But then I squished it into a square chain shape and then snipped off my links. And here she is, baby Dimples from the lovely Grounded Faeriez in her school uniform. I even painted the logo of this school on her shoulder with acrylic paint. She's breaking chains. And you may notice also that her eye has a little glisten to it. I put some polyurethane on her eyes so that it would be shiny. And I've also added some locks of hair which the characters have, because I have a little piece of metal, little ornament stuck to the end of their hair that they cannot get off. You have to read the story to find out why that is. So here's my polymer clay tutorial, my polymer clay figurine, baby Dimples, from the lovely Grounded Faeriez. Now how would you find that book? You just got to go to Google. Just Google it. There's another view there of the chains. Alright, go to Google, probably just type in Grounded Faeriez, we'll find it. Type in lovely Grounded Faeriez, spelling Faeriez a special way, Faeriez, and that'll get you to the link that'll take you to the book, lovely Grounded Faeriez. Now you can click images, and you will get some of my artwork here. Artwork by me, Noble Rick. Not all of these are my artworks. That's one of the fairies there. But go to the link and click on it. It'll take you to Amazon.com. The book is in two formats, hard copy and Kindle version. Here we take a look at the Kindle version. There's the cover with the 8 sisters on the front. The Kindle version you'll find in full color, but I think the hard copy has its own speciality about it too. Special features. It's very similar. Both books are very similar. Of course, you get the same story in both books, same text in both the books. The lovely grounded fairies. It's a story about fairies who get stuck in human form. But when they think they have no magic left, they find that some magic still remains. And there she is, baby Dimples. And her superpower is super strength. That's why she's able to break the chains. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Catch you later.